In news from Jamaica, despite intense opposition, Prime Minister Andrew Holness remains defiant about his administration's decision to remove auxiliary fees from secondary schools. The government intends to abolish mandatory auxiliary fees at the start of the September 2016-2017 academic year. However, several principals and the opposition People's National Party (PNP) have labeled the decision a retrograde move. Critics of the proposal contend that schools are already underfunded. But addressing the lower house on Tuesday, Mr. Holness reiterated his government's commitment to education. He argues that the JLP government believes education must be compulsory from ages 3 to 18. Mr. Holness says the government has already introduced policies to ensure free access to early childhood and primary education, and it is doing the same for secondary education.
Access to secondary education is not defined as a right in our Charter of Rights, but the Education Regulations and the Child Care and Protection Act places an obligation on the state to provide access to educational opportunities. As a matter of policy and law, therefore, Jamaican children are entitled to freely access public education up to age 18 and should be attached to an institution of learning up to that age.
Prime Minister Holness argues that the government's commitment to education isn't merely talk. He says directives have been given to Education Minister Senator Ruel Reid to explore legislation that will make it illegal for a child to be denied access to secondary level education.
We are now therefore looking at making the right to secondary education explicit in law. And I have directed the Minister of Education, Youth and Information, who is here with us in the well, to examine the existing legislation with a view to making it illegal for any child to be denied a right to secondary education. To safeguard that entitlement, this administration will keep its commitment to remove auxiliary fees from high school.
To facilitate its plan to remove auxiliary fees, the Ministry of Education will be increasing its subvention to high schools from $2.6 billion to $5.3 billion. Mr. Holness notes that the monetary allocation for each student has also been improved from the current $11,500 per student to $19,000 per student.